In the great state of New York here for the end of our 2021 season. Lake Champlain, St. Lawrence River up next, but we still have one more day of Lake Champlain. We're going to recap here, day 3, and what a great day it was. We really had low expectations for such a great fishery based on practice. Everyone was saying that it was going to be lower weights. The fish weren't as fat as normal. They turned out to be false prophecies.
Maybe the fish ate up real quick, Ronnie, got fat real fast.
Maybe they did, because the weights have been great this week at Lake Champlain. Largemouth and smallmouth both factoring, and Buddy Gross has been in contention early in this event. He's been struggling the last 2 days, though, on getting every bite in the boat. We saw that once again today. But a good finish so far on the 8th stop of the Elite Series for Buddy Gross.
Slow, he had small fish, Ronnie. At noon, he had, maybe 10 pounds. Had fallen from 8th place down into the 30s.
Every point is important on the Bassmaster Elite Series for Classic qualification, and Buddy Gross wants to limit the damage as much as he can. And for this guy, Jeff Gustafson, he knew he was going to have to do what he does best when we come up north for the last 2 events, because he was on that Classic bubble. 2 good finishes means you're going to the Classic. 1 stumble means you could miss out on the big dance. He has definitely taken advantage of his skill this week on smallmouth.
Ronnie, where he was sitting after 2 days, he climbed to 30th from 45th inside, well inside the Classic cut.
That's a big one.
That's what he was wanting, to not be a winner of an event and not make the Classic. It'd be embarrassing to him.
For Gustafson, he won the 2nd Elite Series event of the season at the Tennessee River for fishing just with smallmouth. One of the only anglers to do so, and it paid off big. And today, he had one of those bad days on Champlain, which means he caught 27 3-pounders, but he didn't get a bunch of 3.5-pounders.
His moping wasn't mopping him up, huh?
Some could say that. Drew Cook,
I just did.
Trying day for him a little bit. The weight will look good at the end of the day, but it's going to be what could have been. Lost some fish, broke some fish off. Had some non-bass break him off as well. And it's one of those trying days where you feel like you left a lot out on Lake Champlain, even though your weight at the weigh-in would say pretty darn good day.
Well, he was consistent with 2 19-pound bags, Ronnie. Just didn't get it done today. Just didn't find those bigger, consistent bites.
For Drew Cook, our 2019 Rookie of the Year, he's one who went from just outside the top 10 in our Angler of the Year standings to, after a good first 2 days of competition, including today, day 3, he'll be sitting in our top 10 going into the last event of the season.
Hey, you get a payout. Top 10 in AOI gets a payout.
We'll be able to talk all about that at the St. Lawrence River next week. Caleb Summerall, long ways away from Louisiana, where he's from, but he has used some of his favorite techniques, flipping a little bit. We see here on some pilings, also throwing top water. Probably, like he said, not much else is better than catching smallmouth on top water. We got to see Caleb Summerall do that this morning. But hey, you're going to lose fish with those techniques, especially with the way smallmouth fight, and that's a little bit of his story today too.
Yeah, he got into our top 10 with one of the 6 20-pound bags on day 2. Ronnie had a 5-1 big bass, one of the bigger bass of the day. That's been the trick, is finding the monster bites. Everybody's getting the 3.5 to 3 3/4 pounders, but getting those 4 pluses has been the big ordeal.
Yeah, the difference in 5 3-pounders and 5 3.5-pounders is 45 spots on the leaderboard, basically. For some anglers, they've been catching them early. Some anglers catching them late in the day. And for Carl Jochimson, he has needed the afternoon bite on day 2 and today just to survive and possibly make it to Championship Sunday. Jochimson went from bleak outlooks yesterday with a big jig that he was throwing offshore. His roommate and buddy Jeff Gustafson said, hey, try this. And it has helped him this afternoon, catching a couple big smallmouth. He went from 3 or 4 fish to basically getting a limit and culling out everything he had previously with
these. Like Buddy Gross had fallen into the 30s, and he's back in our top 10. He's going to fish Championship Sunday with a shot to win at Lake Champlain.
And he was one who really needed a good finish, 2 good finishes at the end of the season. to secure his, qualification for the elites next year?
And possibly the Classic, Ronnie. He started 60th. With his points, he's 48th, and if he has another great tournament at St. Lawrence, he could get in Classic qualification.
Moving up the Angler of the Year standings is what everyone wants to do, and this guy has been near the top of the Angler of the Year standings, if not leading it, for the entire season. Seth Feider came into this event with a 48-point lead in our Angler of the Year race, and this is a place he has 2 second-place finishes, Lake Champlain, in past years. So he had high expectations. Not only does he want to survive in Angler of the Year and keep his lead for the final event, he wants to get redemption and win on his favorite lake.
He sure didn't want to fall on his face, though, Ronnie. He was really nervous about it, that something bad could happen. But he started slow the whole event, and he started catching them, and you could see him getting in there and start feeling good about things. And he's actually increased his lead. He's going to go to St. Lawrence, the lead of close to 60 points.
And that is the thing, is who's going to chase him down, who's going to stay close. Patrick Walters is the only one in the top 5 in points other than Seth Feider, with a shot at the final day at Champlain, so we will see some points exchanged there as well. Lee Livesey, he's a winner this year, winning Lake Fork, his home lake where he guides.
I think he's learned to win, with last year and then this year having elite titles. And now he's just going for the gusto, Ronnie. Go for the victory. These guys say it takes something to get that mindset to go for it.
What's really interesting is each day he's mixed in something new. He's caught 22 fish in a row yesterday on 22 consecutive casts on topwater. Today, more sun, less wind. Picked up a jerkbait, caught some fish. They stopped biting it. Picked up a spybait, caught some more. So he has adjusted very well. And then late in the day, catching a couple good largemouth with a spinning rod.
He has the Phoenix Boats Big Bass on Bass Track, Ronnie, but 5.0. I want to see what it really weighs.
He will have a mixed bag at weigh. And you mentioned that 5.0 was of the green variety.
Looking for his best finish, Zaldain Demerion.
His first time on Bassmaster Live this year, and you're right, Such. Trying to make the top 10, trying to get him a career week this week.
He said he's probably fished his way back into late requalification.
It'll be very close. Can't take your foot off the gas. You got to catch him next week as well for Zaldain Demerion. He's got a 2-year average to work with. He was 55th in points last year. A lot lower this year, but working his way up. Every top 10 that you make is going to help you exponentially.
He started with 19 pounds, 6 ounces day 1, 21.2, the second biggest bag on day 2, Ronnie. Has him in the hunt today. A little bit smaller, but he's right around the top 3.
Vaulted him from day 1 to day 2 into second place. He's going to be within the top 5 going into Championship Sunday.
Benefited from a big bite every day. I think he had a 4.8 on day 1 and a 5 something yesterday.
He's got some green in his live well today as well, at a 4-pounder of the green variety, 4-pounder of the brown variety. This guy all in on smallmouth, Chris Zaldain. He put on a clinic day 2 of competition, catching basically more fish than the rest of our anglers on camera combined. Really putting it together with a variety of techniques, and today picked up where he left off and started catching some good ones early.
Yeah, I watched on the live mix him give a clinic, and cameraman Russell Williams really zooming in on his Mega Live and showing the fish follow his bait up. It was very interesting to watch, Roddy, and he's pretty good at the video game fishing, I'd say.
He normally is one that goes with it, goes for it, I mean. When he has a shot to win, he really sells out to try to get that victory. Came up short quite a bit the last few years, but no lack of drama in that boat. Tomorrow, with a shot to win, I'd expect much of the same to go for it mentality for Chris Zaldain.
Well, you said
and
it
he
sooner
needs
or
it as
later.
well. He was in the 80s in points all season. In the last few events, he has really cashed in a top 10 at Guntersville, a top 10 here, and going into the St. Lawrence where he's had top 10s. He needs all 3 of these to be top 10s to maybe sneak into the Classic.
He's inside
bubble.
the Classic cut right now with his position, Ronnie. He's 36th with his 3rd place points. Climbing from 51st after coming in here.
A guy who probably knows more about Champlain than anybody else, Brian Schmidt. So much success here. We've documented it. Numerous top 10s at Champlain, a couple tour level wins, open wins as well.
and you must pick for this week on
Must
fantasy.
pick, no doubter. I didn't care what bucket he was in, who was surrounding him. You pick Brian Schmidt when we come to Lake Champlain, and he's going to pay off big dividends for you. A little lackluster last year, I think in the 20s for him. Disappointment. He wants to win and win big. He carried a 2.5-pound lead into day 3, and he may have something along that lines going into Championship Sunday. We will see, and you can watch all the action go down tomorrow, Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Fox Sports 1, and also 8 a.m. Eastern Time to 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Bassmaster.com. From takeoff to weigh-in, we have you covered at the guaranteed rate Bassmaster Elite. Lake Champlain has not disappointed.